Hello. We're going to do the last definition in 3.41. So we've talked a little bit about codominance. We talked about codominance in blood type, right? Because if you have blood type AB, you've inherited both those forms, and both those forms are expressed. So that's an example of codominance. We're going to talk another example of codominance when we look at something called sickle cell anemia. So let's talk real quick about sickle cell anemia first. So sickle cell anemia is a mutation in the hemoglobin on your red blood cells. And we'll talk a little bit about what happens. So there's basically three types of red blood cell situations you can have when you're talking about sickle cell anemia. So one would be a situation where you had all healthy, non-mutated red blood cells. So in this situation, you've inherited a healthy form from your mom and a healthy form from your dad. So the notation we use is HB, and we use the letter A for healthy. So this is healthy. The other situation you can have is if you've inherited mutated forms of sickle cell from both of your parents. So let's pretend the hemoglobin that's mutated is this green color. And in that situation, we would write HB inherited from your mother, and also an HB inherited from your father, and that would be sickle cell anemia. Let's just abbreviate it. And then the last situation here is when you inherit one mutated allele from your parents and one healthy allele from your parents. So here I drew some blue proteins to represent the healthy form and some green ones to represent the sickle cell form. And then the notation of the combination of alleles that would cause this would be an HBA for the healthy form, and then an HBS for the sickle cell form. What happens is, under low oxygen levels, when you exercise, under low oxygen levels, these two blood cells, this one and this one, they don't change shape. They stay in this weird kind of bounce, I shouldn't say weird, this beneficial bouncy shape that can squeeze through capillaries and deliver oxygen wherever it needs. However, under low oxygen levels, if you have both mutated forms, both sickle cell allele, your blood cell turns into this very hard rod. That's a sickle, actually. This is the thing they cut down wheat with, that kind of a shape. It doesn't bend, it can't get through capillaries, and it can be very painful. It can cause tissue damage, and then sometimes it can be fatal. So let's talk real quick about the inheritance and how a cross might look when we're crossing parents and trying to predict the offspring. So let's do a cross where both parents are heterozygous. So they both codominant. So one would be an HBA and the other one would be the HBS, right? So if this was the mother, she would have an HBA form and the other egg would have the HBS. And also if we were looking at a father, his gametes or his sperm would have one of each allele. I'm going to be super lazy and not write the HBs. In an exam, please write the HBs. So in this situation, both healthy forms for this offspring. You could have a situation where this HBA and this HBS met. So then you would have a codominant child, one of each. Similar situation here, right? This HBA happened to meet the sperm that was carrying the HBS. So you would have a codominant child. And in this situation, this offspring would inherit the HBS from its mother, the HBS from its father, and this child would have sickle cell. So when you cross two heterozygous parents, you get one that's 100% healthy, two that is codominant, two that are codominant, and one child that is that has sickle cell. And if you have these three forms, it provides malaria protection, which you saw in that video. So that's why this allele still exists in the population due to evolutionary pressures.